Hi, welcome to Mark's Basement Arcade. Today we are going to talk about pinball leg rust and how to remove it. I'm going to zoom in on these so I want you to see actually how bad the rust is on these. Let's put you on manual focus. There we go. Just so you know, this is real rust. It's not fake rust. It's better up on the top, which are more important to me than on the bottom. So you're not going to notice this as much as this up here. As you can see, this is rust. It's rust. It is not something I manufactured to make a video. That is rust. There's some orange paint on that. That will actually come off too in my treatment. This is a good leg right here. This probably will become a front leg because it is in such nice condition. Same with this one. This probably will be a front leg. These are Gottlieb legs, I believe. I believe these are off one of my Gottliebs. So this will be a front leg. Two front legs. Put you back on autofocus. Ooh, we got a message or something. Two front legs and two back legs. So let's get into the part of cleaning them. Alright, the next thing is to clean them. I just do this, I think it helps preserve the cleaning, well, the rust eating solution. You just use warm water or cold water, whatever floats your boat. And I'm just going to use this scrub brush, and then I'm going to clean them. Just get as much of the junk off as I can. I really want to get like mostly all that dirt that gets up built in this corner here. Get most of that off. We're not going to get like the rust off really. These are going to be bad legs for, for this example. But I really wanted a nice crappy pair and a nice good pair to kind of show this. Just how it does the job. You need to get your legs, your adjusters off too. That could be a whole nother video in itself. I do it one way, you might do another way. I usually just try to get them off by hand. If I can't, then I will put these in a vise with two really thick rags in the vise to hold them together. Just so I don't damage the legs as I try to twist them off. Sometimes they end up snap off, sometimes I gotta use heat on them. But usually I will put a drop of oil on the threads here. That way when they do start moving, it will lubricate the threads and they'll come out a lot easier. That's one thing I usually do every time. On some of them, you end up strip out the threads. However, they are not junk. What I do is when I do that, I just put them in a pile, and then when I get enough things to weld, I will take a bolt and put it through here with a nut on this side and a nut on this side. Well, first I clean this off here. This area here, I clean that off. And then I put a bolt with a nut on it, and then I nut it on this side, and I tighten them up real super tight. And then I'll take my welder and I'll put a couple beads around this area right here to weld the nut on. And then I take my bolt off and then I weld all the way around. The same size bolt of the leg threads. That's what I use. That way when you put your adjuster on, it will screw right on like there's nothing wrong. And if your legs are in good condition, chances are, if you don't know how to weld, I do not know how to weld. I can make two pieces of metal stick together. I guess that's knowing how to weld to make a good job. I am not good at that, but they're pinball legs. You're not going to see the horrible job I do on them, but you're going to have a set of legs that work again. Alright, those are as cleaned off as I'm going to get them. Alright, next thing, PVC tube. This is, I believe, a 4-inch. Yeah, it's a 4-inch tube. I cut it to be longer than the leg. As you can see, it is longer than the legs because the legs, when they're stacked in there, they fit longer. The 4-inch tube will let you do easily 4 legs at a time. That's usually what I do. And this I just strap on to my sink like that. I'll take a bucket like this. I'll put that in there. Citric acid. This is powder. I take that and I scoop about a cup into this, and I'm going to run hot water in it and slowly dump this in with the hot water. I'll make sure I got hot water. You don't need hot water for this step. I feel hot water molecules move around faster, so I feel if you start out with hot water, the hot water molecules are going to move around faster and react with the citric acid and the water with the legs quicker. But these are going to soak for 2 days, just so you know. I try to put the water onto one side so it makes a whirlpool on itself. Don't fill it up too much because you got to dump it in here. Make it too heavy for yourself. It's going to be harder to dump. This is filled about 4 inches from the top right now. We're going to take our 4 legs and just slide them down in here really slow. Don't drop them because you might, and I overfilled it, you might break the bottom of your thing. I didn't really overfill it, my hand kind of changed the geometry. of the water. Now, if you look in there, you're going to see a chemical reaction, which is bubbles. You're not going to really see too much right now. I'm going to leave this camera here actually. I'm going to shut it off and then we'll come back later. Now I'll take about another half a cup of citric acid, and I'm just going to lightly sprinkle it in there on top. Like that. Put that in the sink. I will close up my citric acid. That's it. I'm gonna come back. We can see it bubbling up real good right now. Most of what you're seeing right now is the water soaking into the legs, and it's just dispersing the air that's trapped in the rust right now and doing its thing. That's what you're seeing right now. But I'm gonna move my camera off to the side, and I'm gonna come back in an hour or two and we'll see what it does. Just me kicking it will release a whole bunch of air. So we're gonna let it soak. Like I said, I'm gonna come back in about an hour and then we'll check it again. Alright, as you can see right now, we do get a good chemical reaction going on. I don't know if I can get any tighter. That's about it. But you can see the bubbles. Let me see if I can just focus it on the bubbles. It's gonna be so hard to do. But yeah, I can't really focus it on the bubbles. There. It's doing its job. See all the bubbles going? Let me see if I can kick it. Yeah, it's still going the same. That rust is being slowly eaten away. I wish I could illuminate this better. I don't know how to with the way it is in my sink, but there, you can see all the bubbles going. You can kind of see the legs down in there. It's a very boring process, but the water has turned a good yellow right now, and that is a good sign. There was a lot of rust. So usually, from what I noticed, citric acid and rust removal process will turn that water a really weird yellow color. Similar to this right here, wherever we are. It'll turn it the same, similar color as my bucket. As you can see, we are doing some. I'll come back later. Maybe the water will clear up a little bit. Maybe it won't. But we'll check it out later. This was actually about 15 minutes after I started it. I came over here. I'm like, wow, this thing's going nuts. Let's get a video right now. So we'll come back later on and we'll check it again. Oops, there we go. All right, it's been it's actually over 12 hours later. There is another leg in there now. You can actually see all the legs. Right there. I can't light this up the way I'd like to because the camera changes its aperture or whatever. So if I go like that, you can see them. I'm gonna take it. I think you can see them bubbling. Yeah. All that surface tension changing, that's the bubbling. I'm gonna pick this up and let it drop a 1/4 inch, and we should get a ton of bubbling. There we go. There we go. See how that bubbling now? I do that. What that does, it breaks the tension off the rust. Whatever rust is kind of like flaking off. Usually when I bounce it, it will shake it off the rest of the way. But I might be able to get another bounce out of it. See if we can get some more bubbles. Yeah, we're getting a little bit. But you can only usually do it once every couple hours or whatever. But I'll keep doing that over and over again. It just shocks the metal, which shocks the rust that's sticking on it. And it's just part of the process that takes about 2 days. These are really going to take about 2 days because they're rusted. You know, you've seen how rusted they were. And like I said, I did sneak another leg in there because I got some legs that, well, some stuff that I know I need to weld on. And I found a stack of 3 legs that I had put on the side that I forgot about. And I thought they were all welders where I needed weld on nuts. And actually, one leg was in perfect condition, so I dropped it in here. And then the other legs that I got to weld up, once I weld a nut on them, I'll put them in here. But yeah, that's it. Well, check it out later. I don't know how many times we're gonna look at it like this. Maybe one more time, and then the next time I'll just pull them out of the water and we'll see how clean they got. Alright, we are back again. Water's clearer. You can see all the legs in there now. Remember I said I added one extra one. It's still bubbling. I'm gonna see if I can drop it. There we go. So like I said, I keep doing that every now and then. I just lift up my container and drop it, probably about a 1/2 inch. And like I said, that knocks into the rust and helps break it loose. Yeah, that's about it for right now. So I'm going to let this set for another day. I think my next part of this video, I'm just going to take these out of the water, because tomorrow night will be 2 days. So in a split second, it will be tomorrow night. Alright, we are going to take these legs out. Just do one more drop. You can actually see them pretty good right now. But we'll do one more drop on it. See how many bubbles. Yeah, it's still doing something. Or we just had a lot of bubbles hanging on there. But it's been 2 days. I don't think I'm going to get any more reaction out of this. The bubbles that we're probably getting on there were just hanging on from the last process. So I'm going to take this and we're going to zoom it back. It's going to be hard for me to do this one because I don't have my big monitor. I just got myself. Alright. Oh, we are crooked. Why is everything all pulling? Oh, I just pulled on a cord and it's pulling everything crooked. Alright. Let's get to the sink. We can tighten in on the sink. Alright. Get my towel, because I'm going to be wiping these off as soon as we're done. Now you can do two things. You can get a a green scrubby to scrub them off, or you can use steel wool. I use grade 0000 for everything, but I'll probably be using my green scrubby pad. Now what I normally do is this. I take my bungee cord off and hook this up here out of the way, and of course I'll make a little noise and the dog's got to bark. Yep, that's Oliver. This is the fun part. Oh, that stinks. When I mean stinks, it smells like rust water, because we just did take rust off of it. And this leg didn't turn out too bad. I know we had some damage on this leg, but it's a good back leg. This was one I put in myself, so I'm just going to put that over there. These are the legs. We just took all the rust off. So I'm going to get cleaning on them. I'm just going to use hot water, or any water. I get my scrubby. This is a brand new scrubby. This is one of the cheap 3M knockoffs. I'm just going to scrub it. Let's just turn it off right now. Now remember, these legs were really bad to begin with. I knew these weren't going to clean up really good, but I still want to document on how I do clean them, because now, since these are clean, you can spray them with some Rust-Oleum and paint them up. That's probably what I'll end up doing with these. Always get in the bottom there really good. That's where most of your nastiness is going to be. Remember, the rustier your legs are, the worse they're going to be in. This one I just cleaned off was one of the legs I said would be a back leg. I want to get this water hot. I like getting the legs as hot, cleaning them off, getting them hot, and then drying them off right away. Like I said, remember, this is going to be a back leg. This is one of my back legs. So if you got a machine, a line of machines, and your you can't see your back legs, this is the perfect back leg, because this leg, it is now rust free, but it still looks like garbage. All that rust did come off, but remember, it was so bad it did pit it up good. But otherwise, look at the top. Remember how these were like a brownish? You can re-look at the beginning of the video. But still, this is a back leg. Since it's dried off, all the blackness is gone, and it looks just like a regular leg now. But yeah, you could take these and scuff them up really good with scrubby scrub pad or something, and then use some Rust-Oleum like etching primer, prime them up and paint them. I've done that before, but like I said, this actually turned out really good compared to what it was, because that was a nasty leg. Let's look on one of the front legs now. This is the front leg. It's still got that kind of brownish color because we got to clean it off. But yeah, this is how I clean them. Every leg that comes in. Some that orange paint on here. These machines came off these legs came off a machine that was painted this weird orange color, kind of like a salmon or something like that. So I believe these were painted right on the machine. They had to have been painted on the machine because they got drips on the inside. But either way, these are going to be good front legs. Ooh, hot water. These weren't good legs to begin with. They weren't like really chromed. They're almost like bare metal looking to me. I don't know why these were just like horrible looking legs. But they weren't really like a normal like EM chrome leg. These always just look like a bare metal leg to me. But let's clean up that other EM leg I threw in there. Like I said, I had some legs I thought were all bad with stripped leg bolts on them, and I seen one that didn't have stripped leg bolts, so I figured I'd just throw it in here with these and clean it. But this would be a good front leg. It's not perfect, but remember how rusty they were? It's not as bad as it was. Rusty back leg. You can see it's all pitted. And decent front leg. It isn't bad, it isn't horrible. But like I said, you could take these, you know, scuff them up really good and throw some Rust-Oleum etching primer on it, and then paint it one of the colors of your machine. So let's take this nasty one that I threw in at later on and see what we can do to clean it. This is more of an example what a good chrome leg would look like cleaned. Even though this isn't really a good chrome leg, but you can see, you'll be able to see the difference compared to how these looked. But this is this one here will be a demo leg. I have several of these. They're basically, when I set up the customer's pinball machine and I need to clean their legs, I will use these just so I can get the game up on its feet and work on it or do whatever. Sometimes the whole time I have a customer's game, it will never actually be on its own legs. So a lot of times I just clean their legs and I leave my demo legs on the whole time until I knock the machine down. I even had one game here that never went back on its own legs. The legs were so bent and twisted that I told the customer, I'm like, you're probably better off buying brand new legs for this machine because they're just so nasty and twisted. Alright, and here's a chrome leg. Like I said, this one was very damaged, but you can see the difference of a chrome leg. This was, I don't know what got on here where it destroyed the finish. I knew this wasn't going to come out good. That's probably why it was in my stripped leg pile. But if you look from here to right here, it looks beautiful. And I'll show you next to this one I just cleaned to begin with. See how this one right here, it's more of a dull finish, and this is what you're used to seeing, the chrome EM legs. Oh, and the ones I just did were Gottlieb legs. As you can see, the length is different on them. This is a Williams EM, and these are older Gottlieb games. I believe this is probably the 28.5 inch leg or 27.5, and these are 26-inch legs. So let's get these other two ones cleaned up. Here's another back leg. So I get that wet again. Kind of like drying out on me. There's that paint. You can't really see it. There's a weird color paint that was on it, whatever that is. Salmon or whatever. They had to have been painted right on the machine. But yeah, you can use steel wool too to wipe them off. And then I use that scrub brush on the bottom inside corner. It just gets in there easier. Don't forget the bottom. These would be good Gottlieb demo legs. I don't have any. So these may be good Gottlieb demo legs. However, I just may paint these up to match one of my games. You know, color match them, kind of. I've done that before too. More stubborn paint up here. I'm going to get all that off. That paint comes off really good when they're nice and wet and they just come out of the cleaning solution. And what's nice about this cleaning solution, you can just dump it right down the drain. It doesn't need to be disposed of because it's just citric acid and water. It's the same citric acid that's in your soda, except for its powder form, and your soda's liquid. But yeah, that turned out nice. Like I said, this is a back leg. So we got two back legs. And we'll have two front legs. And then one more. I know this is kind of a long process, but I kind of wanted you to see the whole thing, so it didn't look like I was doing something different than originally I was. The only thing different I ended up doing was throwing a extra leg in the mix, because I don't have any other legs to clean right now. I got two that I need to weld up, weld nuts on them, and that I'll do at a later date. And then once they're done, I'll clean them. Should have kind of just cleaned them while they're dirty. Well, I should do that. Well, whatever. That's what I should do. Clean them when they're dirty. And then weld the nut on after they're clean. But yeah, that water comes out smelling like just rust water. Because that's what we just did. We just ate the rust off of them. Now, if you're not going to paint these right away, I would suggest throwing a coat of wax on them. Or a light oil coating. But these ones I really don't care about because, like I said, I think these are just going to be demo legs for when I work on Gottlieb's. And I'll just buy a brand new set of legs for this machine. Well, actually, this machine I won't. It's got a painted cabinet, but it's a cool machine. It's a Flying Circus. Gottlieb Flying Circus. So here we go. And in this tube, you can just fill up with cold water. I spin it around like this. You can't even see me. I just spin it around like this in the water. And I dump it out. A lot of rust in there still. Eat that rust right off. Good enough. Get all that rust down the drain. I don't want to sit in my tub. All the crazy rust particles. There, that's it. These legs I'll put over to the side and we'll let them dry out. But they turned out good. You've seen how they were in the beginning. When they're so rusted like that, there isn't much saving you can do. So, but they turned out decent. They're clean now. So now they can be, like I said, just do a light sanding on it, throw some etching primer on them, and paint them. That's what these are good now. And then the ones that turned out decent, like this one, that one will be your front leg. And the ones that are pitted up really bad, rust is gone, but rust destroys the metal. So we are pitted up. You know what these would look really good? Like a hammer tone paint. That would totally hide all the defects in them. And like this one right here. This is actually a really good back leg. Buy 2 new front legs and use this as a back leg. That's another good idea for that. Ooh, we are like super tight in there. So anyways, yeah, I hope this helped you out with cleaning the rust off your legs. Please like, subscribe, and share. There'll be some cool stuff along the bottom here. As usual, thumbs up, and take care, and later.